My name is Carol Burnett. I'm with the Mississippi Low Income Child Care Initiative, and I want to lift up a few of the comments that were submitted in writing by email in a letter to Jill Dent. First, I would encourage the Division of Early Childhood Care and Development to transfer at least 20% of our state's TANF grant into CCDF for the child care program, and to invest an additional $20 million out of the TANF funds in direct TANF spending to expand the number of child care subsidies for eligible children. I would encourage the Division of Early Childhood Care and Development to include a grant program to child care centers to provide financial support for participation in the quality rating system. I would also encourage the Division of Early Childhood Care and Development to use some of the quality set-aside funds to finance stipends to child care workers as an incentive for obtaining higher levels of education in early childhood. I would encourage the division to ease the transition of children who leave TANF-funded child care and move into CCDF-funded child care. Currently, that transition sometimes results in parents losing their services because they end up on the waiting list for regular CCDF child care services rather than making a smooth transition. So that transition needs to occur so those services don't get disrupted. I would encourage the division to collaborate with the Child Nutrition Office of the Department of Education in the development of the state plan with regard to the child care food program. I would encourage the division to remove the requirement that single parents apply for child support in order to be eligible for child care. And I would encourage the division to remove the requirement that students must get redetermined every quarter or every semester, because that is disruptive to a student being able to complete their higher education. I would encourage the division to align the requirements in the quality rating system with the core curriculum requirements to support school readiness. And the other of my comments were submitted in the written letter that was submitted by email.
Thank you, Ms. Burnett.
Licensed providers, I want to thank Dr. Dent and her team for removing any mention of tracking of time and attendance and the Quality Stars program from this draft state plan. I agree, as do other child care providers, that both should be removed from the CCDF state plan. Unfortunately, I must now raise formal objection to the adoption of this state plan or approval due to violation of the Mississippi Administrative Procedures Act and failure to file this plan and provide notice with the Office of the Mississippi Secretary of State. Statute 2543.3.103, Notice of Proposed Rules Adoption. At least 25 days before the adoption of a rule of any agency shall cause notice of its contemplated action to be properly filed with the Secretary of State for publication in the Administrative Bulletin. The notice of proposed rule adoption must include public participation for at least 25 days after proper filing with the Secretary of State of the notice of the proposed rule adoption. An agency shall afford all persons the opportunity to submit in writing data and views on the proposed rule for 25 days. And this was not posted for 25 days, and many people have not had ample time to contribute their thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
Good afternoon. I just have one comment other than what's already been said. Federal guidelines allow for requesting funding for early child care certificates at the current year level. I would just like to ask, why is the state of Mississippi still requesting 2004 funding? And that would be my question.
All right, thank you, Ms. Sturgis. Cassandra Welchland. You have 5 minutes to speak as well, Ms. Welchland.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Welchman. I have a couple of questions and comments. One beginning with the electronic scanning system. Again, there was no mention of it in the state plan, and we want to continue to oppose that and say that that is child care providers and parents do not want that system in place, and so we strongly oppose that. Secondly, want to even more ask DHS if they would increase TANF money for child care. Also, we would like to ask that the use of quality money to create a grant program for centers to participate in QRS and use child care money to pay for child care workers that complete their CDA or higher degree. Also, we have a question about the QRS evaluation and if that has occurred, and when would that report be made available for the public. Also, and this might have already been stated, but we would like to ask DHS to put a process in place for child care centers to give input on the quality rating system as well. The last question, we would like to know how is the Department of Human Services currently serving those children that's on the waiting list? What will be the process for serving them? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Welchland. Is there anybody else that would like to come speak, or you have a written statement?